Have you ever wondered whether what we're pursuing is truly health or just a standard disguised as a more attractive and acceptable appearance? In an age where a touch can make a face look slimmer on screen and social media constantly shapes ideal versions of the body, a drug appears with the alluring promise. You don't need to change your lifestyle, just change your physique. And then, everything seems to start shifting. People who once inspired self-love and acceptance of their bodies now appear with different appearances. Familiar body types suddenly become more perfect. And from there, a quiet question arises in many people's minds. Are we getting closer to true self-confidence, or are we just accelerating in a new illusion of beauty standards? In this video, we'll delve deeper into the whole picture, from the alluring promises to the less discussed aspects behind the scenes, to understand what's really hidden behind that weight loss miracle. Kelly Clarkson's story has a different nuance, gentler, yet leaving a lasting impact. Since winning American Idol in 2002, Kelly has never built her image on perfection. She's beloved for her sincerity, approachable style, and charming self-deprecating humor, always ready to laugh at herself. When the media brought up her weight, she didn't shy away, but also didn't let it define her. Instead, she responded with confidence and a unique sense of humor. Her collaboration with Weight Watchers also shows she didn't hide her health journey, choosing to share it openly and realistically. What's special about Kelly Clarkson's story is how the changes happened, not with fanfare or big pronouncements, but almost silently, yet clearly visible to millions of viewers. On The Kelly Clarkson Show, viewers gradually noticed subtle changes, from more comfortable clothing and a changing physique over time to increasingly noticeable differences that were hard to ignore. From there, questions began to arise, but there were no immediate clear answers. For a long time, Kelly chose to remain silent. No fanfare, no turning her personal journey into a public story like many other celebrities. Later, she shared that she had been using a prescription medication to help with a health issue related to her ability to process sugar, a condition she had experienced. Her way of speaking about it remained true to her familiar style, calm, yet realistic, undramatic, and without fanfare. It was precisely this initial silence that drew more public attention. Not necessarily because of the changes in her appearance, but because of the way it unfolded, slowly, almost unemphasized, yet clearly evident over time. To the audience, Kelly Clarkson has always been the image of someone like them, imperfect but authentic and confident. Therefore, when the changes become apparent, the reaction isn't criticism or disappointment, but a mixed feeling that's hard to describe, as if something has changed, but never fully expressed. And sometimes, it's these very moments of silence that leave a deeper impression than any explanation. Barbie Ferreira's story is captivating in a unique way, not because of what she says, but because of the unexplained gaps in her narrative. For years, this Barbie was one of the leading figures representing plus-size women of the new generation. Her role in Euphoria was more than just a character. It was symbolic. A girl learning to assert her self-worth in an environment constantly seeking to shrink those who didn't fit traditional norms. In real life, Barbie also upheld that spirit. She spoke out strongly about the need for greater representation of diverse body types and inspired many young people struggling with the pressure to change their appearance for acceptance. But then things took a different turn. When Barbie Ferreira appeared on the Victoria's Secret runway, her transformation became apparent and immediately drew public attention. In a short time, social media was flooded with discussions, and with many asking questions and awaiting a specific explanation about the journey behind this change. However, Barbie remained largely silent, neither confirming nor denying, nor delving into any details. This silence, however, made the story even more multifaceted. Victoria's Secret has long been seen as an icon of a certain body standard, almost the opposite of the message Barbie was once known for. Therefore, her appearance on the runway, even without making any statements, created a subtle shift between her old image and her current one, between the message she once represented and the new context she was entering. No clear explanation, no official statement. And sometimes, these very silences carry more weight than any answer, prompting people to question their personal choices, the messages they once conveyed, missed in the invisible pressures behind the spotlight. Meghan Trainor's story has always captivated the public, not only because she is an international star, but also because of her personal journey, which is filled with layers of meaning and transformative changes that prompt reflection. Meghan made a powerful breakthrough with her song, All About That Bass, a song with a clear message about appreciating all body types. The song quickly spread, becoming a voice for many young people around the world, from schools to social media, as an affirmation that self-worth does not depend on meeting body image standards. For many audiences, especially those who have experienced body image insecurity, Meghan is not just a singer, but also a source of encouragement, offering a sense of understanding and acceptance. Beyond music, she actively expresses her views on self-love, participates in inspiring activities, and shares in numerous interviews about building inner confidence. However, over time, her appearance has undergone noticeable changes. This has led fans to start paying attention, discussing, and asking various questions. Meghan later shared on a podcast that she and her husband had used weight loss supplements after experiencing some health issues, and that she lost about 27 kilograms as a result. She asserted that this was a personal decision made after careful consideration, and that she felt healthier than ever afterward. Nevertheless, for those who grew up with All About That Bass as a symbol of body confidence, this change still creates an indescribable feeling, as if there's a gap between the message they once received and the current reality. And this doesn't diminish the respect or support for Meghan Trainor, but it underscores that every person's journey, even that of iconic figures, involves personal choices and complexities that the public doesn't always fully see. Amy Schumer's story is much more multifaceted and in many ways feels incredibly relatable and authentic. Throughout her career, she has cultivated an image that completely defies the perfection standards Hollywood often imposes on women. Amy's comedy isn't based on polished appearances, but rather on her honesty, occasional awkwardness, and very ordinary personal details. She transforms imperfections into material for laughter and empathy. This is evident in I Feel Pretty, where the central message isn't about changing one's appearance, but about learning to see oneself. Furthermore, Amy has spoken out against excessive retouching in publications, hoping women can see more authentic body images, not distorted by unrealistic standards. Therefore, when she shared that she had tried weight loss pills, public attention quickly shifted to her. What makes the story so noteworthy isn't just the use of this method, but also Amy's experience, the side effects that left her feeling tired, nauseous, and struggling to maintain daily activities and care for her son. Although the post was later removed, the story continued to spread widely. At the same time, some information about her previous cosmetic procedures was brought up again, making the public's perception of Amy more multifaceted and complex. However, this isn't necessarily a story of contradiction or inconsistency. On the contrary, it reflects a clearer reality. Even those who have spoken out strongly against beauty standards are not entirely free from the pressures surrounding them. Amy Schumer's story highlights a profound truth, that being true to yourself in a world that constantly strives for perfection is never easy. And the line between personal choice, public image, and societal expectations is always a complex one. Chrissy Metz's story has prompted many to pause and reflect, not because of controversy, but because of how she confronts herself. For years, Chrissy has not only spoken about body confidence, but has also vividly portrayed it through her role as Kate in This Is Us. Her character doesn't simply represent a plus-size figure, but also contains very real slices of love, family, hurt, and self-esteem. For viewers, this is one of the rare occasions where they see themselves fully and emotionally reflected on screen. In real life, Chrissy maintains that authenticity. She shares her personal journey through memoirs and numerous interviews, frequently emphasizing learning to love herself while actively working to improve her health. By 2025, her transformation will become even more noticeable. Chrissy Metz appeared with a noticeably different look, and many reports indicated she had lost approximately 45 kilograms. The story quickly spread and became a topic of interest in many places. However, what set her apart wasn't the number or her appearance, but the way she chose to confront that change. Chrissy didn't shy away or remain silent, but openly shared that this was part of her self-care journey. And she supported anything that helps people feel healthier and better physically and mentally. She also affirmed that her belief in body confidence remained unchanged, even as her body underwent transformations. This transparency gave the story weight. There was no circumlocution or avoidance, just a journey told clearly and honestly. As a result, the audience's reaction was more positive. Many people didn't feel betrayed. On the contrary, they were simultaneously happy for her health and appreciated the message she had represented for so long. In a world full of diverse perspectives, Chrissy Metz's story shows that sometimes honesty is what makes things clearer and more acceptable. Rebel Wilson's story complicates the discussion of body image and beauty standards. It's not just about weight, but also reveals how Hollywood operates behind the glitz and glamour. For years, Rebel was beloved by audiences for her charming comedic roles, where appearance became an integral part of her character's identity, especially in the Pitch Perfect series. Viewers appreciated her confidence, positive energy, and her ability to transform her differences into unique and unmistakable personalities. However, behind that glamour lies a little-known paradox. In her memoir, Rebel Wilson revealed that the industry sometimes inadvertently pressured her to maintain a familiar image. From her roles and branding strategies to her career agreements, everything seemed to revolve around the version Hollywood was familiar with and wanted to continue exploiting. A system that both celebrated that image for success and imposed limitations that made it difficult for her to break free from the mold. When Rebel began her Year of Health, her rapid transformation became a media sensation. Initially, she explained it was the result of lifestyle adjustments and a greater focus on health, and the public reaction was largely positive. Later, she candidly shared that weight loss supplements may have contributed to the process, alongside changes in her lifestyle habits, as part of a more holistic self-care journey. What makes Rebel Wilson's story remarkable isn't just her numbers or appearance, but the contradiction she faced. An industry that had exploited her past image, yet simultaneously celebrated her transformation. Rebel didn't just change her physique. She broke free from the mold Hollywood had imposed on her, making her story transcend mere numbers. Ultimately, what remains is not a perfect image, but the honesty in recounting a personal journey. Audiences aren't necessarily looking for an idealized version, but rather want to see the truth behind the spotlight. And Rebel Wilson, by confronting her journey directly, delivers that clearly and naturally. Ashley Graham's story has prompted many to pause and reflect, not just because of the noticeable transformation, but because it touches upon a belief once held firmly ingrained. For years, Ashley wasn't simply engaging in the body confidence dialogue. She became almost one of the movement's most prominent icons. Her appearance on the cover of Sports Illustrated as the first plus-size model was not just a personal milestone, it is but an iconic turning point for the fashion industry. She built her career by celebrating bodies once considered non-standard, speaking frankly about stereotyped imperfections, and constantly challenging rigid beauty standards. Her message is clear. Beauty isn't limited by a single size, and every body deserves to be present, recognized, and to shine. For many women, Ashley is not just a model, but also proof that self-worth doesn't depend on changing one's appearance. However, by the end of 2025, her image showed a noticeable change. On the Victoria's Secret runway, Ashley Graham's figure was slimmer, and her facial features were sharper, leading many to speculate that she had significantly changed her body size. Immediately, social media erupted in debates and a barrage of questions arose. And Ashley later explained that this change stemmed from adjusting her lifestyle to be healthier, including a new diet, daily habits, and some nutritional support. However, for those who had followed her from the beginning, this explanation still struggled to bridge the gap between the before and after images. When the changes were so clearly visible, many found it difficult to consider them merely simple adjustments to daily life. At the same time, old videos from America's Next Top Model, where Ashley had strongly spoken out against the standards for plus-size models, were also widely shared again. When compared to her current image, the contrast becomes clearer, creating diverse perspectives among the public. And it is at this point of intersection that the story becomes more complex. It's not simply a matter of right or wrong, but rather the gap between previously established beliefs and the reality unfolding before our eyes. What do you think about all of this? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy analyses like this, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos.